Hey friends, this is the Miss Volfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today I'm going over the top. I'm going to make a lemon meringue roll cake. Or is it a lemon roll meringue cake? Okay, so before we go any further, I'm combining two recipes. This is the lemon meringue pie and this is the easy sponge cake recipe. Now, if you remember, my last sponge cake that I made with strawberries was only a 4-egg sponge cake. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is this recipe and this recipe both take 6 separated eggs. And because the sponge cake is not, you can't let it cool completely down, timing is going to kind of be everything, because we're going to want to be making the pie filling as this cake cools and combine them before this gets completely cool and before, you know, while this is still hot. So to have everything ready, I'm going to separate my eggs. Now, your eggs need to be room temperature, folks. And you cannot get any little bit of yolk in your egg white, or your meringue will not fluff. And yes, I've got turkey eggs, and they're very much like duck eggs for baking, so if you've got spare turkey eggs, absolutely, use them. There we go, and 1 white. Thing is, turkey eggs are actually hard to crack, folks. Their inner membrane is really thick. But I want to make sure I get at least 1 turkey egg in each recipe. There. So here are our 6 room temperature eggs and whites for our filling and meringue. And 6 eggs and 6 egg whites for our sponge cake. Now, I'm making a different recipe, and this is an opportunity for us to once again use our flexible jelly roll pan. Don't freak out, folks, and tell me it's dirty. It's just water spots from my dishwasher. Okay, here's what we're going to need for our cake. 6 egg whites, room temperature. 6 egg yolks, room temperature. 2/3 of a cup of sugar. 3/4 of a cup of sifted all-purpose flour. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of vanilla, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Okay, so first, there's our oven. It's preheated at 400 degrees. We have our 6 egg whites and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. A little bit of sugar, just about a tablespoon at a time. Okay, we're at soft peaks, so we're just going to leave that for a minute. So now, we're going to beat our 6 egg yolks, and we're going to gradually beat in the rest of the sugar. Now we're going to put in our vanilla, and our 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay. These out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to sift our flour over top of our egg white mixture. It's a good thing we did. And now we are going to pour our egg yolk mixture over our fluffed egg whites and flour. And remember what I told you about folding, folks. We need to fold this batter together. Do not overwork it. Do not stir it. Folding means just this. Turning it inward repeatedly until all the colors run together and you see no streaks of flour or different colors. It all wants to be a nice, light, fluffy batter. That, my friends, is beautiful sponge cake batter. And yes, folks, it's not greased. I was told the silicone pan needs no grease or paper, because the paper was what gave me the problems the last time. Nice, even, creamy, colored batter. Now, normally I would drop it to get the air bubbles out. Do not do that with a sponge cake, folks. Those air bubbles is what makes your cake fluffy. This is going into a 400-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes while I work on the filling. Okay, now that our cake is in the oven, we have to be pretty darn quick. We want to zest. We want the juice and zest of 2 lemons. Now, obviously, because we're using the zest, we go for organic lemons. But if you haven't got organic lemons, then you just wash them really good with a scrub brush and warm water. You don't have to put anything on it. Water's your best friend. You just want the yellow part. You don't want the white inner pith, because it's the bitter part. We want the sour, not the bitter. There is our lemon zest. We'll just set this aside. Now we're going to bring the old 1950s juicer into play. Thank you, Nancy. And I've had people ask me, don't you worry about the aluminum and the acid? The lemon juice doesn't sit in here long enough, folks, to be an issue. Okay. Let's go on over to the stove and make our filling. Okay, our timer has gone off. This is our beautiful sponge cake. I'm just going to put a wire cake rack under the pan to let it cool a little bit on the bottom. Yeah, but it's stuck. It's absolutely stuck. Okay, so next time, folks, we will grease the pan. I was told by many people, somebody told me, don't grease it. I've never had a problem with silicone pans. But we're going to have a problem with this one. Okay, so now we're going to make our filling while our cake cools a bit. And somebody sent me a whisk like this. And I'm telling you, folks, this is the best whisk. And I use it for making scrambled eggs and anything I don't want sticking to the bottom of a pot. And then I just run it under the tap with a brush and toss it in the dishwasher. It's awesome. We have 1 cup of sugar. I use organic. The juice of 2 lemons plus the zest, which is on the table. 6 egg yolks. 3 tablespoons of butter. 1.5 cups of water. A little bit of salt. 3 tablespoons of flour and 3 tablespoons of tapioca starch. You can use cornstarch if you wish. Okay, so first we are going to whisk together our sugar, our flour and cornstarch, and our salt. We want to make sure this is really well stirred together. If you want, you could even put it through a flour sifter, but this works just as well. Now we're going to stir in our water, our lemon juice, and our lemon zest. We're going to turn this on to medium-high heat, and as soon as it comes to a bubble, we'll take the next step. This is why I love this whisk. It almost sits flat on the bottom. Now that it's heating up, we're going to add our butter. And once your butter is melted in and this starts to thicken, we're going to add a little bit of this heated mixture to our egg yolk. Just a little bit. We don't want to cook the egg yolk. And then we're going to mix this all in, and into our custard base it goes. And we just keep stirring until this thickens up. Now I'm going to turn the heat off and continue to stir until it is completely thick. Because once you see it starting to thicken, you get trace through here like that, you don't want the heat on under it because it's too easy to burn. The cake is stuck to the pan. So we're going to do our absolute best because it did turn out beautiful. My cake is broken. Let's see if it rolls up. Now, I don't necessarily have to roll it up now because it's cool, but I just want to make sure it's going to come completely off this pan. Yes. Okay, folks, you're going to want to grease the pan. And on with our lemon filling. Whoa, that's a lot. Yeah, I know I'm filling it good, but I got some left over that you may want to spread on a piece of toast. It's called lemon curd. Okay, now. See, I got way too much filling here. I'm starting at this end because this is the part that cracked. And I'm just going to set it on my plate here and hope like hell. Again, I'm having issues getting it on the plate. I'm going to put this in the fridge to chill. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
I'm going to put this in the fridge to chill before we make the meringue. Okay, so here's our cake. And as you can see, when I put it on the plate, I put it in the fridge to chill, and then I flipped it out onto this foil-covered cake pan because we're going to meringue it. And that has to go in the oven. So let's get on the meringue. We are just going to take our 6 room temperature egg whites. And we're going to turn on the cowgirl. We're going to gradually add a 1/4 cup of sugar. Let's have a look. A little bit longer. If you wanted to get fancy, you could get fancy with a pastry bag. I may have made these a little too stiff. If you're going to whip them this stiff, use a pastry bag with a decorative tip. Okay. And there it is, ready for dessert. I'm going to take the second piece because the first one isn't always very pretty.
Give me that.
Get a fork.
Give me that.
If you haven't guessed it, folks, that's Briar talking. The elusive Briar. Hang on, I gotta get a little more. Not you. There, just that. Here it is. What? You didn't do it on camera. Down there. There we go. Thanks, son. Egg yolk, 6 beaten egg yolks. Mixed it, poured it back in, and then stirred it till it was thick.
Good as shit.
That's how you make meringue pie filling. Oh, you gonna give me that?
I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I do it.
Thanks, honey. This is the Mrs. Volfie from our half-acre homestead saying you don't have to have a pie to have the flavor of lemon meringue. You can put it in a roll cake. Take care, God bless.